impact new technology has had on the industry. The Manhattan Institute for Policy Research in New York City hosted the event.
I'm going to use my time with you at after lunch here today to give you a broader framework in which to think about where the energy markets and oil in particular are going, as opposed to giving you the specifics of what's in my report that you have, Shale 2.0. If you read that, if you want to subject yourself to it, you'll know everything that I know. And if you read the citations and go to the primary sources, you'll know more than I know. There's many people in this room who know much more than I do about the oil and gas business. So I want to really do a framing presentation for you, how to think about energy markets, and I think that's critical. In fact, I've always thought that in my life, because maybe it's a bias of being a physicist. You like to have frameworks to think about things, and then you try to build things that work inside of the reality of the framework. You can also tell a lot about the future when you know what the boundaries of nature are. So that's what I want to do. I'm not going to give you very specific information about shale fields, a little bit about the shale fields. That's in my report. But I really can't talk about energy today in particular without starting. You have to really start with acknowledging the release of the Pope's environmental encyclical. It's released officially today. As you know, as you probably know, it was leaked globally early this week, so it's not news what's in it. But look, amongst a lot of the things that the Pope wrote, and without regard to what people have already claimed that he wrote, or will yet claim that he wrote, but that will bear no resemblance to, in fact, what he did write, without regard to that, the one thing that is in the encyclical is a call for the accelerated abandonment of fossil fuels. So if you haven't read that, that's one of the recommendations from Pope Francis. So given the kind of global media coverage this has already got, what we've got going on here is, well, we've reignited this sort of intellectual race, this debate about how society gets its fuel. That's an old debate, right? In encyclicals, just as an aside, for those of you who are not familiar with what encyclicals are, in encyclicals, popes quite properly give advice to the world, to their faithful, but to the world in general, from foundational religious and moral principles. That's what an encyclical is about. That's sort of the animation of it. What I'm going to talk about is energy, and in particular hydrocarbons, from the foundational principles of physics and derivatively economics. This is what you call a two magisteria. For those of you who are familiar with Stephen Jay Gould, when he wrote a lot about the intersection of the debate about evolution and theology, he talked about the two magisteria, which is a very good way to articulate this. And it's the intersection of the two magisteria and the resolution of them where we create policy and politics. That's what that happens. That's how we sort of create the, if you like, the operating system of governance, is at the intersection of these two magisteria, the magisteria of morals and physics, if you like, or reality. Because you have to deal with both.